And welcome to another edition of Daily Drinkers Podcast. My name is Rocky. I'm going with old fashioned tonight, straight up whiskey on the rocks with a splash of water. Good, because it's almost Friday.
I'm Marbles, and today I have some marbles in my scotch.
Some marbles for marbles.
Mm-hmm.
We're actually on the same page tonight,
Yep.
oddly enough.
And then I have, of course, a Guinness chaser. Because that's just my thing now, is I just drink Guinness all the time.
I took a break from Topo Chicos, and good as they are, just some whiskey sounded good tonight.
Yeah, I figured I would drink some because I think I told you earlier that I helped out a coworker get a piece of equipment that's hard to get, and it was a lot of money. And so as part of payment, I said, well, since you have a ton of whiskey, how about you give me some whiskey and some scotch? And so he's going to give me like $400 worth of whiskey.
To go with your $1,000 worth of, so 5 bottles is what you're going to have in total. Got it.
About 6, I think, 5 or 6. So I'm going to have a bunch of whiskey and I don't know where to put it all. So I figured I should probably drink a little bit of it since I haven't had whiskey in a long time.
You're taking the heart of this podcast name to heart.
Mm-hmm. I know. Oh, that's good though. Oh, let me chase it with some Guinness.
I apologize for the creepy silhouette in the background. I promise I'm not on Pirates of the Caribbean. Even though it may look like that. And for those of you who don't know, there's a Pirates of the Caribbean ride at Disneyland. It's a very dark ride, and they have the creepy dim lit. This over here in the corner. It's my finger is really long too in this picture.
Mm-hmm.
It's dimly lit, and you just have like crackling fire scenes in the background. That's what it looks like.
Now that's it's gonna be your go-to for your ladies ads. Like, look at these long fingers. Hey, ladies. Anyways, yeah, this is that Guinness cast like Lagavulin that I have.
The Nick Offerman one?
Yeah, but it tastes weird if I chase it with Guinness.
Because you're not supposed to.
Yeah, I don't know. But
another lovely week this week. It's been wild across the board. We have a blood moon outside right now.
Do we?
Well, we do. I don't know if you guys do.
It's pretty close. The sun should be down by now. It's like it's dark enough where I can still see the color, like still see the sky, but I don't see like any orange or it's about to be completely dark soon.
The moon just looks like this.
It's a red dot.
Red. Right there.
Are you sure it's not Mars?
ET phone home.
Oh, and then we have about an hour and a half until those Zephyr masks go on sale.
No?
Well,
oh, that's right.
It's 8 p.m. Pacific. Yeah. That's what it says. If I could find the email again. It says available in limited quantities October 21st, which is today, 8 p.m. Pacific time.
Are you actually getting it in line and order too?
Did you want one?
I don't know.
See,
I wanted the original Hazel ones that fit like weird right
that
here.
That were a little smaller and they fit closer to your face.
And they have the voice box. I want the voice amplifier. That was the whole point of the mask.
Yeah, so that way people could see your face and hear it.
And this one just...
I'm assuming either they couldn't get it, either it was too costly to try to find a manufacturer for it, that would make a device that does that isn't too expensive, and also doesn't, because it would be on all the time, it would just use a ton of
Certain
battery, I
battery.
guess. So, I mean, I guess they probably had to make cuts somewhere. I'm glad that the band is now like a full strap around your head. Like it goes back around and not just the
Yeah,
ear loops, because I feel like that would be
that
really
would have
heavy.
been that would have been annoying.
If it was just on your ears, it would be, even the original design, I feel like would be too heavy. But I don't know, like I'm thinking of just getting one if I can. I mean, it's probably going to sell out like instantly. But I thought of like getting one, and then me and Samantha could maybe trade off on trying it and stuff, just to see. Um, I mean, I could wear
The,
it at home.
the the release one coming out just looks like a painter's mask with LED lights.
Which one?
The one they're releasing, it looks
Oh,
like a spray painter's mask.
it's looks basically like a semi-opaque painter's mask. But looking at the specs, I mean, it says on low speed, because I think you change the speed of the fans
Man,
that are pulling air through the filters. But on low speed, it says 8 hours with the lighting off, 5.5 with the lighting on. But I'm like, if you're wearing it for that long, then yeah, your face is gonna get tired no matter what you wear for 8 hours.
and then I'm gonna need to get a different haircut. I'm gonna be wearing
Hmm.
this mask.
Yeah, I know you're gonna have to like
I need a haircut anyways,
get a
but
hipster haircut. I need a haircut again.
because it legit looks massive across the face.
It kind of does. On a guy, it doesn't look as big, but on the pictures they have of a girl, it looks
It
huge.
looks like the Mad Mask mask,
Yeah,
the big dude.
yeah, it kind of looks like that. But it's like I still kind of want it.
I'm in the
Like
same boat. Like if
it's
it,
big. I feel like it's going to be uncomfortable to wear for a long time. The RGB is just over the top, but I still want it. Like I don't know.
and
Um,
from what I read, like especially if you wear glasses, it's supposed to really help that so your glasses don't fog up all the time.
well, yeah, if you look at the it's more molded across. It's actually, there's like a high part on the nose, it looks like, but it looks like there's a
Yeah.
smaller part that's up against your skin on the inside. So yeah, it probably would keep your glasses from fogging up.
But I also feel like it's going to distort your voice even more.
See, I that's what I would like I would like some sort of like video of like someone wearing it, like this
And
version,
talking.
and talking and seeing like, how does it how does it feel? How does it work? Um, let's see if there's any like video. Oh, there are this one. I mean, they're coming out with some articles, from earlier today. Um,
And I'm also intrigued by the actual filter replacements. Is the only place you can order them through Razor.com.
it's through Razer, yeah. Probably because they're a specific size.
Mm-hmm.
Although you probably could, if you could find those still like those same level of like N95 filters, you might be able just to cut your own. Just cut like a disc,
At that point,
like.
I'm not even going to way too much work for $100 mask.
Well, I mean, you could order like what, a freaking 1,000 of those filters probably off of Amazon.
Probably.
um,
In the end, who knows what you're really getting off Amazon?
True. Um,
So essentially, you can go through 3 days for one filter.
that's what they recommend, but I mean, you could probably, depending on how long you're using,
Yeah.
that's probably if you're using it for 3 full days. If you're
Yeah.
wearing it for like an hour or 30 minutes, I'm sure you could probably make that last a lot longer.
So
if you
you
don't
figure
have it on.
72 hours worth of actual breathing time. But if I got it, I would be using it at work. So essentially, it would last me. I'd have to go through 4 total filters per week.
Yeah, if you wanted to actually, if you want to stick to the 72-hour window per filter, yeah. Um, I mean, that's what they recommend. I don't know how many people are actually going to stick to replacing them every 3 days.
It comes with 3 sets of filters, so 9 days total.
Yeah, that's what they estimate for those. Um, one of the things that I wish they did keep that they ditched too was the UV cleaning charging case. But it's according to this article, it said that they didn't include the voice amplifier because it made it too heavy, hindered breathability, and reduced the battery life.
Even the battery life itself. Low speed fan up to 8 hours with no lights, 5.5 hours with lights. But
Mm.
at the same time, are you really going to wear this thing without wearing the lights?
Of
Because then
course,
it
you're gonna wear the
becomes
lights. So,
then it becomes more of a nighttime mask.
well, that article I sent you, the guy's like, yeah, I had the lights on even the bright sunny day. I'm not gonna not turn the lights on. Um, some people say it's comfortable to wear, reducing the spread of viruses like COVID or flu. But I mean, these authors have no way of actually testing the filtration, so more than likely some uh, scientific company or something is gonna like do a analysis and say what the actual filtration is that isn't, marketing speak. Um,
I see that like this would probably be more used to you in California, whereas Texas they really don't care.
no,
Or even good for traveling. Like if you're going to travel for a while, this would probably be a primo mask for travel.
like being on an airplane and stuff, that's probably more comfortable than a cloth mask,
Mm-hmm.
and it looks cooler.
And then you can turn your fans on and actually get breathable air coming through, so you don't feel like you're getting suffocated.
So you're not tasting the same air you're breathing out. I mean, that alone's not going to kill you. I mean, surgeons do that on a regular basis, but it's just not comfortable. Um, I mean, one argument in here is that it's better for the planet replacing just the filters than the whole mask every time. Assuming you use it for months and months. I think out here it might be a good idea, like when it's fire season and the air tastes terrible.
Mm-hmm.
Might not be a bad thing to wear that if you're outside doing stuff. Heck, you might get use out of it doing yard work.
Mm-hmm. Because everyone knows pollen out here is trying to kill me. So
Yeah,
I just don't like that it sticks out like 3.5 inches off your nose.
yeah.
Like it almost feels like it needs to come with a visor at that point.
It looks like it could go on the front of like a motorcycle helmet.
It kind of looks like Ant-Man's mask.
Yeah, like the front a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it kind of does. It would be awesome if that was like if they had something like this that was like integrated onto like a motorcycle helmet. So you could like snap that on the bottom, and while you're riding a motorcycle, you're actually cleaning better air than the smog you would most likely be breathing in.
On the flip side, I do see a lot of cosplayers incorporating this into costume designs
Oh,
for
it's gonna, yeah,
it's gonna just be awesome for that aspect.
and a bunch of rave kids under bridges. They're
Mm-hmm.
definitely gonna love this. Uh,
So that's where I'm still kind of tore. So if you get it, I'll probably wait to see what you and Sam think about it before I officially get it, and then I'd get one and then see if Rhonda wanted one.
um,
But I was really wanting the voice amplifier because I was about to have fun with that,
yeah,
knowing they were going to hack it.
I thought that would be cool. Um, I mean, the fact that it was announced as a concept in CES 2021 and that they actually made it, that's pretty quick. That's a quick turnaround.
Because they were planning this, and then they had to fine tune it, and then planned it and fine tuned it, and then shifted gears.
There's probably a lot that went into. Um, I bet you that they went with how wide it is because they probably had to fit more varieties of faces.
Mm-hmm.
And if they made it too narrow,
You
it
couldn't
wouldn't
get
it wouldn't fit someone like my face where it would like because it couldn't go further back, it would stick high up, most
yeah.
likely. So they probably had to make it wider so that way it would fit more people's faces. And then you just rely on whatever's on the inside to like make a seal. But
It looks
yeah,
like it works best if you wear a hat too. If you wear a hat or a hoodie, 100%.
yeah.
If you don't wear them, it
Um,
kind of look like Sub-Zero. It's not gonna lie. Either that, or just because they only have the Asian guys on there. No offense to the Asian community, but
yeah. um, yeah, no, I don't know. I'm gonna try to get one. If I can, cool. I'll try it out. If everyone likes it when they make more, I can, you know, the only thing I don't like buying from Razer specifically, where I prefer to buy like if I get a Razer product, I prefer to get it over off of like Amazon. It's because buying it straight from Razer, it comes from Singapore, so then
Jesus.
you gotta wait for it to like get shipped and then go through customs, um, and stuff. And honestly, it hasn't been that. It doesn't take that long once it gets to the U.S. I think the last time we ordered something, it went through Alaska. So like it went through customs in Alaska and then it was there for like a day and then got shipped to, down here to California. So,
Well, especially now
but
with
if you
the
ordered it from
shipping
Amazon,
issues.
it would be like 2 days. It'd be like the next day it would show up.
Mhm.
So,
Lord
that's,
knows with all the shipping issues, how long it's going to take to really get stuff to clear. And then
yeah.
I heard today that California was passing that trucker law to where they're not going to allow owner operators to drive trucks in California.
What does that mean?
So, like individual owner operators, if you own a semi truck, you
Yeah.
cannot operate within certain boundaries in the state of California. You can only operate as an actual company truck,
Oh,
which I don't
okay.
understand why, considering most trucking companies have a bunch of owner operators.
Yeah, I don't know.
Dang, my tan looks good too. Ladies, get yourself this light. It gives you amazing features. Oh,
I have all litany of dogs barking at the same time.
see, not bad, not bad. And then
Yeah.
boom, look at that golden color just coming in.
That's your camera. That's not the light. That's the
The light.
camera's white balance.
Ladies, get yourself this
Oh.
camera.
What which in fact is a Razer camera.
Mhm.
um no, I was actually talking to my mom the other day about the whole shipping issues, and she said that they said on the news that the issue isn't with like the longshoremen, that the ports have no shortage of workers. It's there's not enough truckers that can haul the stuff off the port. And apparently one of the limiting factors is to get onto the port because it's a port of entry. They have to pass Homeland Security
Yep.
guidelines, and there's a lot of truckers don't don't have Homeland Security clearance. So out of the I guess there's less truckers than there were before the pandemic. A lot of people either, I'm assuming, died, quit, retired, got laid off. And probably a combination of all of that has led to just a shortage of truckers, and then an even smaller group can go actually onto the port. So so they just got stacks and stacks and stacks of cargo just sitting there. Ships can't unload because there's nowhere to put the stuff, and there's not enough truckers to actually move it out of the port. So I'm like, wow, so they're gonna have to solve that because production's only gonna go up from now on. Like, it's not gonna go back down probably.
Yeah. And supposedly they're rerouting some ships out of California ports back through the Panama Canal to come either to Florida or Houston.
Yeah, because there's just not enough room, I guess.
Which is
There's a
why Texas is booming even more.
There you
Woohoo!
go. Um, but I don't know. I mean, that just sucks for the shipping companies on they're shipping that stuff because now they got to spend more fuel to go to the other side of the U.S. They have to sail down past Mexico through the canal, which that in itself can have a jam of, that takes a while. The amount of ships trying to get through there a day, and then go back up the Gulf into the East Coast. That's a lot of extra cost. But yeah, I don't know. I don't know when that's going to get fixed. But I'm
Never.
thinking, yeah, like if for instance there's not enough drivers that can actually go onto the port, then you should have. I mean, they're going to have to do something like this, but you're going to have the guys who can do it for whatever companies they work for, just do short hauls in and out of the port and moving that stuff to some other location where truckers who can take it the rest of the way. I mean, there's no other way to clear that much backlog of containers unless you literally move them out faster than they're being unloaded. Um, which brings me to my other point of they have a shortage of truckers, and I'm thinking, well, a lot of companies are complaining that there's a shortage of workers. Now, I don't think there's a shortage of workers.
No.
And a lot of people don't think there's a shortage of workers. So I read an article this morning of this guy from Florida wanted to see for a fact if there was a shortage of workers. So he applied to 60 different places. He got one interview. And these are all like entry level positions. They're all like no experience needed type of positions. And he said some of those people were complaining like on social media that they can't get people to work for them. So he applied to like 58 or 60 different businesses. He got one interview, goes in for the interview, and he said even during the interview, the person tried to walk back the $10 an hour that they were promising from the job listing. He goes, they were trying to pay less than that. He goes,
Sounds about right.
so the problem's not there's a shortage of workers. The problem
Shortage of
is,
people wanting to work for the pay that they're trying to get.
yeah. And I think a lot of people who were stuck at their jobs for a year realize that they don't want to settle for crappy pay. I mean, yeah,
Nobody wants to.
and you got to think a lot of people can't. There was a more what they call moratorium on evictions, right, for like a year and a half. But I bet a lot of those people were still probably living paycheck to paycheck as it was, and a lot of them lost their jobs. And they're not gonna. They are probably. You got to weigh the options of okay, it's I want to go back to work, but I don't want to go back to work making the same wages I was making before, because I was living paycheck to paycheck and that sucked. You know?
And I don't want to have to deal with the nonsense that's going on.
Yeah.
Which is
So
somebody who's been out there since day one. It's people are like different now. It's weird.
yeah, it is weird.
Self entitled and all those headaches.
Um, but it's just funny that like businesses, it's I guess that's the way of the market correcting itself. The businesses take advantage of the employees. The employees eventually get tired of it and revolt, and then it forces the businesses to change. I mean, the same thing happened when unions were getting started. Turn of this last century. People didn't want to work 7 days a week for $1 a week.
12 hours, 13 hours a day.
Yeah, or even longer. It'd be like 16, 18 hours a day. I think at one point they actually lowered it to 12, like 10 hours, 10 or 12 hours a day because it was more than that on average. So the government's like, we got to lower it. And then they lowered it again to 8, to the 8 being the full-time amount. Um, but I mean, yeah, like people got tired of being treated like crap. You get no benefits, or terrible benefits if you do get any. And then you're underpaid. You can't afford to do all the things that adult's supposed to do, take care of your family, pay your rent or your mortgage, like.
Or in some cases, like childcare. Childcare is stupid expensive. Now you
Mm-hmm.
need a full time job just to pay for childcare.
Yep.
So it's cheaper for most people to have parents stay home, and they sacrifice on other aspects because they would be
They
even
save on
cheaper in the
childcare.
home.
And that's only if the second parent can do it all themselves financially, handle
Mhm.
all the bills and stuff. If you're in a situation where your job does not pay enough and your significant other also has to work just to pay the bills, then you're just screwed. You're just perpetually screwed unless you can find another job. But looking for a job when you're living paycheck to paycheck is hard. Um, and I've done that. It's not easy to not go to work to look for work, especially if you're paid by the hour.
Yeah.
You know, a lot of times people don't, think of like fast food. A lot of people don't take sick days, and you think, well, they handle people's food all day. That's like terrible. But they don't take sick days because they can't afford to
They
take
can't
sick
afford it.
days because they don't get paid sick days. And then they lose out on pay if they're not there. And if they're making minimum wage, well, every day you don't work, that's less and less money you have for food and rent and whatever else. And if you're taking care of a family on that, if you're raising, kids and you're making minimum wage at a fast food restaurant or whatever, you're not going to get very far.
I was reading on one of the Reddit forums, anti work started becoming a popular hit on the front page. And somebody pointed out that how many grocery stores now have gone to full automated service to where you are your own cashier checkout. And how many years did they preach to us that, oh, well, we can't do this, we can't pay higher wages because we're going to have to increase cost? Well,
Hmm.
here they're cutting expenses and the costs are still rising. So obviously that wasn't the point from the start.
Nope, it wasn't. It was all about profit margins. Because you got to think of business. Most businesses, their goal is to make money.
That is every business, not most. That's
Um,
every business.
well, every business's goal to make money, but I'm saying there's still a few businesses where the secondary goal is to like also take care of their employees.
Yeah.
But a lot of businesses don't even go that far. Their number one and only goal is to make money. And if they're going to cut costs, they're going to cut costs. If slavery were still allowed, if child labor was still allowed, there would be
100%.
businesses in America that utilize it. A lot of
Mm-hmm.
businesses that will usually utilize it. So it's the fact that it's illegal is the only reason why businesses don't still use it. um,
Well,
so anytime that they can save money and cut costs by either cutting employees and then dumping the work on the employees that are left, or trying to keep wages low, or trying to, um, any other means that a business tries to increase their profit while lowering their expenses, um, but at the expense of its employees or its customers, um, is terrible. And like I think now people are starting to realize that like a lot of businesses do that, and that a lot of people were being underpaid for what they were doing a year ago,
yeah.
and
Like,
people
oh,
are
we cut
tired of
our
it.
staff. I got my workload increased threefold, and I'm
They
getting paid the same rate. This
Yeah,
is
they
stupid.
won't pay me anymore. It's like, but you saved the cost of, the pay of 3 employees, and I'm doing the work of 3 people. Well, we can't afford to pay you. Um, yeah, I saw a Reddit post yesterday about that, about how like they went to, that the idea when a boss, I guess in the US it's illegal for an employer to tell you that you can't discuss your pay with anybody. Um, Or
But they always,
at least that's what the comments were saying, that it's illegal for an employer to tell you you're not allowed to talk about it. Now, but they say, oh well, it's it's rude and it's bad manners to talk about your pay. It's like, no, that's a lie that employers tell you, so you don't
sure.
truly know how much you're getting paid.
Mm-hmm.
So that way, when you work there for 10 years and then you talk to your coworker who's been there for 6 months and they've gotten 2 raises and they make 3 times as much as you, so you don't ask for more money. That's
Mm-hmm.
the reason why they don't want you talking about it. Not because it's improper. It's because they don't want you to know what your real value is.
Why
And
it's important to always, I was always told you look up what your job entails, you
mhm,
look up what your competitors are offering, you compare that to you. If
yeah,
you're on par with average, cool. If you know you're above average, well, then that's up to for you and your boss to decide. If you know you're well above average and you're getting paid base salary, well, then that's the come to Jesus moment to where you either start
mhm.
looking or you just accept your life and go on from there.
Yeah, you just live with it and don't complain because you're choosing to. Yeah, well, that was like my last boss. I was getting paid like a third of what I'm getting paid now. And all of my coworkers, we discussed all our pay, and we realized that like, oh, we're all getting screwed. Even the highest paid guy was underpaid.
That's
Um,
crazy.
yeah, the highest paid guy was making probably half of what they should have been making. So you talk about it, and you're like, yeah, we're all getting screwed here, and so we're all going to ask for more because we also know what the standard. It became a thing where no one wanted to tell us, but at one point we found out what the standard rate was. And we realized, oh, we're not making the standard rate. Our boss is keeping most of it and telling us we're making less. Well,
Because you know your boss is billing their company's standard rate and just
mhm,
pocketing the difference.
pocketing the difference.
Which understand that's what businesses do. They're in business to make money.
Yeah,
Good on him for a while, but then when he gets caught, oops.
especially when all the other companies aren't doing that. Just him. All the other contractors aren't having that issue. They're all getting paid by standard rates. Um, so yeah, it's a thing that I think a lot of people, at least in the US, have shied away from, of like discussing their pay because of this idea that it's like rude. But in reality, it's like, well, it only benefits you. I mean, look at unions. Unions, they're all paid to scales, right? Every job in the union has a pay rate.
X amount of experience, X pay.
Yeah,
X amount of experience, X pay.
X job title, X pay. Like it's all, they all know what everyone makes because it's all literally graphed out and listed.
And it
So,
makes sense.
and it makes sense, and it keeps them all from you know infighting, which is what an employer would prefer, is that the employees are fighting each other over pay instead of fighting with him, asking for more. So I think that's something that people are starting to actually talk about, of like, oh, I'm not getting paid enough for the job that I've been doing, and other companies are paying more than that. And why am I settling for living at like minimum wage when I can just do something else instead? And a lot of people, you got to think, a lot of people were almost forced into that opportunity by being let go.
Mm-hmm.
So now they have to look for another job. They're going to look for a job that pays more.
And they're gonna look for somewhere where they feel, hey, if I'm gonna get paid less, I want to go where I feel appreciated.
Yeah, where I enjoy my work. If I can afford to live off of a little, less pay, but I really want to do what I want to do, now's your opportunity. You don't have a job,
Go do what you
try
want.
to get what you want to do. And if it's something that where you don't really care what you do, you just want to get paid more for what you're used to doing, then sure, do that. I don't hear of a hiring issue with like higher paying larger companies.
No.
All the ones that are complaining about not having workers are all like entry level minimum wage type positions where they want to pay people whatever the lowest amount they can pay, get away with is, and people in those states aren't settling for it. I mean, California, I just looked it up, and this year the pay's up at $14 an hour for minimum wage.
Which is
Um,
nothing for California.
it's still nothing for California.
Well, at least for the major areas, Los Angeles County, San Diego is abysmal. You're not going to get anything in
San
San
Francisco,
Francisco.
Sacramento County, whatever. Like, yeah, those you're not going to get anywhere with that.
I
With
mean,
$14 an
Barstow,
hour.
okay.
Yeah.
The one stop between LA and Vegas, okay, I understand that.
$14 an hour. Yeah, I guess you could live off of that out there. But yeah, for the major cities, you're not gonna get that. I mean, my mom dealt with that for a long time. When she was out looking for work, they wanted to pay her with 35 years of accounting experience. They wanted to pay her like $18 an hour.
Yeah. We want you to
uh,
have a PhD and a master's degree, and starting pay is $17.50.
yeah. Also, we don't give raises
And you don't get any insurance or benefits.
or
You're
time
on
off.
a 90-day probation,
Hmm.
and it's nonsense. So I just
Yeah.
stuck to a job that basically pay scale locked across the board with varying degrees, and your performance is based on what you can actually do.
Yeah.
Until my
Which,
boss got mad at me for exporting, but that's a whole different topic. Because I used to make, well, based off of sales, we got commission. So the higher number of sales you have, the higher commission.
yeah.
But we get bonuses based off of performance. So I figured out I could do half amount of sales, increase my performance, and make the same, if not the same amount of money. The same or more, give or take the bonuses.
Yeah.
So I would make more in bonuses than I would off of just selling everything. So I was like, cool, I'm gonna go that route. Well, because they kept setting the tier higher and higher and higher and higher. And I was like, okay, I'll take the top tier again. I'll take the top tier again. I'll take the top tier again. They were mad because my number sales were half of where they were last year, but they were still paying me the same amount of money.
Yeah. Well, that's when you look at it and say your system's broken.
Your
that
system's broken. I figured it out.
that's not, yeah, that obviously doesn't benefit you. So if you're cool with it, if you're one of those companies, those very few companies that are like, hey man, you're an all-star and you deserve it, then great. But I don't
And
think you work for one of those.
it was like, oh, cool, we're gonna audit you. We're gonna audit you, and they couldn't find anything wrong with my audit, but it was just tired of the headache and the perpetual thought of, okay, I could potentially be fired next week. It's not worth the headache, so I'll play by their rules again and knock it back down.
Cool. I'll do less work than.
I'll do less work and get paid more. Okay, cool. Wait, you can't do that.
That's not fair. No, there's people, when this kind of stuff gets brought up, there's people that bring up the guy who's I forgot what they nicknamed him, but he owns a payment processing company, and his minimum wage is 70,000 a year.
Oh, the dude in Seattle.
Yeah. He sets a minimum wage of 70,000. He makes 70,000 flat, and then he says everyone else can make that or above, but no one gets paid less than that. And I'm like, and they're still making a profit.
And he's making like record profits. The first
Yeah.
year he did it, he did like 3 times better, and it was like, what?
Yeah, and everyone's happier. Everyone goes to work and enjoys going to work because they're all paid better.
Because they know, hey, I'm going to go to work. They're going to take care of me. So
Yep.
I'm going to do my part to, show my appreciation.
You feel a little loyal to them for being generous with you.
Yeah.
And not being overbearing. And I think a lot of businesses don't realize that, like, actually caring about your employees goes a long way. They like people like to be appreciated. I mean, people are working because they need the money.
They have to.
Everyone, for the most part, unless you're doing it for almost free, you're doing it because you have to, because you need money to live. You need to buy food, and you need to buy stuff for your kids' school, and you need to, pay rent or whatever. Like, people work because they need money. And I always hated going on job interviews because they ask you, like, why do you want to work here? And in my head, I'm thinking, well, because I need money. Like, I'll do something for you, and in return, you give me money, and then I go home and I live. Like,
I sell you my time.
it's an easy transaction. I just do things for you, and with my time and energy, you pay me, and then I trade those, that U.S. currency for things that I need to sustain myself. And it's like, but people still kind of want to be appreciated for the work they do. It's like they're putting in a lot of effort, and yeah, getting paid well can some people work well with a pat on the back and like, hey, a good job. But most people, if you pay them well, that goes a lot further as showing your appreciation for the work they do. Um, and I think that guy figured that out. Like he could live off $70,000 a year for wherever he lives, like, and his lifestyle. That's enough for him. And so he says, well, no one else should be making less than that because that should be able to cover your mortgage costs or your housing costs, your food costs, your clothing costs, your transportation costs, all that stuff. Making that much in that area of the city, that should be the minimum.
That covers your essentials, and
That
then
should be, and like he says, it's the minimum. Like everyone there can make more than that, but no one there is going to make less than that. And I'm like, there's a lot of companies that the minimum bar can be way higher than what the state or federal says the minimum should be. Obviously, those numbers should be reflecting, current living conditions. Everyone always says, "Oh, we can't raise wages because that's going to raise cost of everything." It's like, but cost of
yeah,
everything goes up anyways, and the
yeah,
wages aren't keeping up, which means based on our economy, which is a capitalist, you buy things makes the economy run. If you're not paying your workers, they don't have spending money to go buy stuff. If they can't go out and buy stuff, then you're not producing as much stuff. If you're not producing as much stuff, you're not making as much money.
and if you've made enough of the numbers angry, nobody's going to buy your product. Nobody's going
Yeah.
to support you. So now you have a bunch of empty warehouses,
Yeah, now
and
you
you
start
can't
going
make any money
negative.
on anymore.
But everyone knows, I
It's
mean
all a
that's
numbers
why
game.
that's why like the whole bonus thing that is popular. It's people usually get their bonuses like around Christmas. It's so that way people could go out and buy things. But if you pay people more year round, they'd be buying things more year round. You know, instead of holding onto that car that's falling apart, they would buy a new car. They'd buy a new TV, they'd buy a new fridge, they'd buy a new like whatever, new clothes. They go out to restaurants more. You know, if people had more spending money, they tend to spend it. What's the number? Like most of the country doesn't have like enough money for like a $500 emergency.
Mm-hmm.
They're living with like less than that in their bank accounts. I'm like, that's kind of sad.
Like, bro, I spent more than that just on cars this week.
Hmm. That's right. How the hell did you get all of like what did you get done so far?
Well, I was laughing because my cashier was bad. We're working on her car, and we had a price range set up, and I was like, okay, cool. And then work came through and audited us and said, nope, here's how the new rules are going to be. And so we're like, okay, well that sucks because we already did everything, and now we got to rechange everything. So it is what it is. So her price got adjusted a little bit, and then I had to work on my old car. It was little minor stuff. So I was like, well, if I'm going to keep it, I need to get it done. If not, it's only a couple, like $100. So I'll do that. Then I decided, no, I'm going to get my new car. So the new car lined up, got the new car, had to come up with a down payment for that. So kicked that out. And then my other car, I was like, cool, well, I need maintenance done on that. My tires are almost bald. So I was like, well, might as well get tires too. Then my new car, I needed to get window tint done. I got what's called a bumperdillo, so I can stop the back from getting scratched.
Mm.
So I dropped about $400 worth of accessories on my new car, and then another 600 on my old car for maintenance related items. So I was just like dropping too much money.
Yeah. No, that's yeah.
And then next month I get hit with my first car payment again. I'm like, ah,
Do you know what it's do
oh,
you know what it's gonna be already?
yeah, it's $480 a month,
Okay.
which not bad. I wanted to keep it between 350 and 400. I could have done a lease for 415 a month at 4 years. But then I was like, my actual payment if I purchased it would have been 460 a month. But then I added the gap coverage on top of it.
Mm.
So I was like, there's no way I'm going to buy this, get into an accident, and be stuck with the difference. So
Yeah.
I'll spend the extra $20 a month to get the gap coverage.
Yeah. I did that for mine, and then I moved the gap coverage over to my insurance company. I don't remember how I did it, but yeah, no, I got the gap coverage too, and my mom went with me, if you remember, to go get that car.
Mm-hmm.
And she had told me get the gap coverage because she actually knows, she worked with someone years ago who got a new car with her husband, drove off the lot, and they got T-boned at the very next light.
Mm-hmm.
And they didn't get the gap coverage. And they're like, well, you're shit out of luck.
Yep.
um,
Sorry, your car already depreciated.
yeah. The moment you sign the paperwork, your car depreciated.
Because it's now a
Then
used car.
now
And
it's used, and then you just totaled it.
mm-hmm.
You didn't even make it a block, and you totaled it. Yeah, it was like somebody ran a red light or something. So she's like, yeah, get the gap coverage because it's just you don't know.
It's peace of mind.
It's peace of mind.
So,
You don't want to be that unlucky person that just dropped that much money on a car and like, well, it's gone now. Guess what? You need another down payment for a new car.
so my new goal now is to go back to my old manipulating the system routine and try to get a bonus or two every check to essentially cover my car payment.
That's not bad. Covers the
So,
car payment and
credit cards are paid off. I don't really have anything else going on. So, was it nice saving money? Yes. But I also had a car that was 13 years old and needed a whole new front suspension.
yeah, there's a point where you just gotta cut your loss.
I would have
It's like it's
needed
not
to
worth it.
drop my cost. I would have had to drop about $2,500 into it just for suspension related items, and that's hoping nothing big goes with my engine.
Yeah.
And so, am I gonna get that money back out of this car? No.
No, you wouldn't. And
Right
also,
now, the way the used car market is, I'm gonna get more for this than I ever would at any other time. So let's just gamble it. And then if the used car market keeps up the way that it is, I might flip my other one and get a new car. So I don't know. We'll see how it goes.
yeah. Um, I'd like a new car. Like I would like to get a truck. Um,
Don't get the Santa Cruz.
yeah, no, I'm not doing that.
No.
No, I know.
I was
I know
actually
I'm
in
not
one
doing that.
yesterday, and I was
You're
like,
what?
I was actually in one yesterday.
Yeah.
Customer came in and wanted to get window tint done. I was like, "Oh, is that car?" He's like, "Yeah." So you mind if I go check it out? And he was an old timer. He's like, "Oh no!" So of course you do the normal song and dance routine. Oh, that's cool. This, that, whatever. They'll start talking about it. And I got inside of it. And I was like, all right. The interior just feels cheap.
Mm-hmm.
It looks like a spaceship. The way the dash is designed is like the old Chargers where you had like 4 feet of dash and then you have like 5 feet of hood. So it's like
Yeah.
you're in like the old Cadillacs and like this is weird, but it's like a rounded setup on the inside. And you're like, huh? The back door is just a weird design. So like trying to get into the back seat is awkward.
Oh, you're saying they feel cheap on the inside? Wow, who knew?
Okay, so because flip this, the Hyundai Palisade.
Why do you think I won't buy one?
The Hyundai Palisade has velvet rooftops and like custom everything on the interior.
That's a
Even
more expensive. That's a more
yeah, that
definitely a more
$50,000
yeah.
SUV.
And the way they did packaging and all that stuff, at least from the coding side on the website, was just like a nightmare. Because like it was confusing as hell, and we had to write a bunch of custom code for that car because the way it does packages and trims and options,
The
it's
trim
just
options
weird.
are stupid.
Yeah, it's just weird. So
But I will say the top of the line calligraphy edition has
yeah,
suede interior on the headliner,
yeah,
and
that's
it
why
is
it's
the
so
coolest thing
expensive.
I've ever seen.
Yeah, that's why it's so expensive.
All the camera angles in it.
I mean the Genesis ones are nice on the inside. I've
The
ridden one
Genesis,
before.
the Genesis GV80. Oh my god,
Yeah.
$70,000 car, but it
Mhm.
rivals probably most Mercedes right now.
Yeah. Yeah, the high end ones like that are good, but I mean they're kind of any car brand when you're getting in those kind of prices and those kind of trim lines, they're all pretty good. When you're spending 70, 80, 90,000 dollars on a car, yeah, it's going to be nice no matter what brand it is. It's
Yes.
going to be it's luxury. Like it's going to be nice. That's what you're paying so much for. Buying, a $20,000 car, no.
No.
um
Like, here you go, have fun. Which is weird because the Ford Maverick, $25,000, I would say probably the average decent truck,
oh yeah, I
actually
don't
has a
remember what
lot
that
of
one
little
looks like.
perks to it. It's weird. It looks, I don't even know. It's weird squarish
Yeah, it does.
body
It is
style.
squarish, but I think it's because the top and the back are square, very square, but the front
The
isn't,
one
so it makes it look weird.
the one thing that is cool about it is Ford is going to open source a lot of the little customizations on there to 3D printers, so you can have an endless supply of add-ons that you don't need to go to the dealer for.
Well, yeah, it depends on what you're 3D printing though.
Yeah.
Like I wouldn't want a plastic 3D printed bumper.
No, like on the interior. So
Yeah, if you could 3D print like especially like replacement parts for small crap on the inside that break, sure.
on the back of the center console, there is like a weird little T hook. They are open sourcing the format for it so you can 3D print something that can fit in there in the back.
That's
So
kind of cool.
if you look at it's like a weird little AC charging port. Hey, cat's trying to fight. There's like two charging ports in the back seat, and there's a weird little like clip hook right there. They're open sourcing that so you can customize anything you want for the back of your car.
Okay.
There's supposed to be something like that on the front dash too. I
I
was
mean,
reading about.
that stuff's kind of cool that they're doing little things like that. It's like cool. There's an area where you can just make stuff.
Mhm.
Um,
And
but
the fact that
like
they're just open sourcing it to the world, like here you guys go, have fun,
here are the specs, the
do your thing.
measurements. Yeah, that's not bad. I mean, look, to be honest, I kind of want. I mean, you know, like I don't go very far, um, but I kind of want a Ford Lightning. uh, I'm like, if I'm gonna get a truck, why not get an electric truck and have more trunk space? Especially if it has what the extended range is what like 300, 350 miles. I
Yeah.
don't drive that far. What am I gonna do? Drive like 20, 40 miles a day at most? Like, who cares? My sister doesn't live up north anymore. I'm not gonna take a road trip up there. And if I really wanted to take a road trip and I was that worried about range, I would just take, someone else's car, girlfriend's car or something.
I
But
still don't see EVs doing anything until they up the ranges on them.
yeah, that's the thing everyone's waiting for. But that's the thing. I wouldn't get like this model of truck. Like I would get a later year. Um, I figure this with Ford coming out with that one. There's also what the Mustang like Mach E or whatever.
That's garbage.
No, I
Don't
know.
even bring it up.
But what I mean, I'm not gonna get that. I'm just saying like they're putting there. It looks like they're starting to put investment into that. So I feel like they're gonna pump a bunch of money into battery tech and start getting longer ranges out of it.
Once they get rid of this lithium ion, once they get off of that
Once they
addiction,
get off of that, then you're getting, fast charging in 2 minutes and 1,000 miles.
or even if they can
Also,
get
your battery
400,
won't explode.
if they could get a 400-mile range, but a charge time of down to say even an hour.
Yeah, but I mean, I think they're going to be aiming for.
1,000,
I'm
1,200.
thinking they're going to aim for probably as close. They're probably going to try to work their way towards 1,000. I don't know how long it'll take for them to get to there. I think you have to change the entire composition of the battery and go away from lithium ion. But in terms of fast charging, I have a feeling that they're going to try to get to about probably what it took in the old days when you stopped at a gas station like off Route 66 and you like filled up and they wash your windscreen and like you got a snack on the inside and okay, your car's ready to go. They check your tire pressure. Like probably the amount of time it would take to do that, which would be like a couple minutes, few minutes, you'd have a full battery again. I think that's what they're probably going to aim for. Is that going to happen? I don't know.
No, I don't think that's going to happen.
It'll probably be a while. They're going to have to switch off of lithium ion. Plus, those are bad for the environment, the way they make them.
The whole mining aspect.
The mining aspect, the chemicals that get released when they mix that stuff together. And also, if you go to like solid state, like carbon batteries, they don't burn the way lithium ion burns. They don't catch fire. I know they're trying to push a little more hydrogen fuel, but that to me just seems more dangerous. It's clean. Burning hydrogen, you just end up with like water left over, but
it's such an unstable gas.
But it's unstable in a pressurized gas form. And it's a bomb. So yeah, I wouldn't want more hydrogen fuel in the world. I wouldn't want gas stations on every corner filled with hydrogen.
Not another Zeppelin incident.
But then it'd be everyone's freaking car. Not just one airship. But yeah, I don't know. Oh, I heard that they're shutting down the nuclear plant. The only nuclear plant in California, the one off of
San Onofre.
Yeah. They're closing that down. The nuclear boobs. Yeah, they're apparently shutting that down. Like in the next couple years, like they're already starting the process of slowly like closing it down. They say it takes some years to finish, but for them to actually like shut down a nuclear plant takes a while. But I think I was reading an article and it just came down to like it's not even that the thing it's not as profitable as I think PG&E owns it. It's not profitable to them because a lot of big companies that use a lot of power, I guess in California, can buy their power from certain sources. And a lot of them don't want to buy the power from the nuclear plant. Because people have the weird thing about nuclear plants. Where they think they're just bad because of, Chernobyl and stuff. 3 Mile Island. So they're shutting it down because they just don't want to pay for it, I guess. And I'm like, cool, you're gonna release a source of technically clean energy for just because people don't want to pay for it. Okay.
Sounds about right.
Cool. Let's just burn more coal, I guess. I don't know.
I give up.
Let's do what West Virginia does and just burn more coal.
We're here for a fun time, not a long time.
Is that what you said when we went to Vegas?
And we had a fun time, didn't we?
Did have a fun time. Oh man. Well, you about ready to play some Back 4 Blood?
Let's go.
All right.
Ladies and gentlemen, it's been real. Thank you for joining us again. My whiskey is out, so time to go shoot some zombies.
My beer's out. We will see you next week. Bye.